Hey, 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 hey. Welcome everybody. Okay, Tally's breaking it down right now. Welcome everybody to another episode of Not Your Typical Girl Talk. Thank you for having us, joining us, listening to us. And as usual, we're going to go around and introduce ourselves for those of you who are new to our show.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Carcia, and I'm so happy to be here with my ladies today to talk. This is Not Your Typical Girl Talk, and I'm so excited to be a part of this crew as always.
Yes, I am excited too. Hello, my name is Telly. I'm also a proud member. Sitting here as my queens, talking with that good talk here on Not Your Typical Girl Talk. We're gonna dish today. It's gonna be a great combo as always.
Awesome. And I am Toshiba, the final member of Not Your Typical Girl Talk. And so happy for everyone to join us. Again, thank you if you're joining us on Radio Regent. If you're not already following us, follow us on all of our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube at Not Your Typical Girl Talk. So ladies, like Telly just said, it is going to be a topic today. And it's such a topic that it may end up going over an hour. We're going to do our best. But, you know, we are talking standards today. And this came about, you know, these are things that we always talk about, you know, for our listeners. We've been friends for basically a decade now. And we, you know, before the pandemic started, we used to make sure that we do our, you know, catch-up dinners once a month. And of course, we now have the talk show and we would see each other at least once a week. And so these are topics that we would always talk about and the importance of standards. We've had that discussion, but now it's come to the forefront because there is a clip that is circulating. It started on, I guess, World Star Hip Hop about this life coach, Kevin Samuels, and one of his guests. And she's basically talking about some of the things that she requires in a relationship. And Kevin is giving her his advice. We are going to play the clip so you guys can understand. And it's a bit of a clip, but I think you will understand what's going on. And because we're only playing a part of the clip, I'm going to tell you basically what happens prior to this clip that we're playing. So Carcia, when you're ready,
yes,
we're going to play this clip. So again, Kevin Samuels is the host, has the show. Young lady has called in to ask advice about the type of men that she wants to date. And she goes into detail about the type of men that she wants. So
yes, I'm just gonna get the page here and get my sound going.
And do we need to do a disclaimer? No, I don't think he says profanity in this. But I think he is what a lot of people may say is his delivery is what people are talking about, right? And I think the audience, when they hear it, I think let's try to focus on the message and not the delivery of the message. Because I think if you focus on the delivery of the message, you actually miss the actual premise of what he's trying to say to her. And I think that would be my advice to anyone who's even watched the clip before. Go back and actually if you take away the delivery, which a lot of people saw as harsh, right? And you listen to the message and the content of what he's saying, then that will be actually very interesting. And as the ladies are putting it up, I'm going to set the stage before it goes. I'm actually going to tell you that the clip we're going to play is about 6 to 7 minutes of a 22-minute discussion. And so basically the young lady had called into the show, but the topic for which the show was that day wasn't the reason she was calling in. So Kevin has essentially said to her, you know, do you have a disagreement? His topic that day was disagreement day. She says, no, I don't have a disagreement, but I've been really just trying to reach you. And he said, okay, so you're gonna, instead of reaching out to me via my business, you're gonna take this time and basically, you know, for better language, bum rush my show because you want what you want, because now you want to talk to me. But anyways, he ends up speaking to her. And this is a bit of the clip that's basically turning the internet ablaze when Carcia is ready.
Women like me. What would you rank yourself on a scale from 1 to 10? You cannot use 7.
Would I rate myself?
Just your face.
My face when I wake up 5, but when I put myself together 6.
Okay. And how tall are you?
5'5".
Dress size.
I'm sorry.
Your
Um,
dress size.
a 3.
Okay. So that makes you, if you give yourself a 5, that's average.
Yes.
So average looking women tend not to get high earning men. They tend to get average men.
So,
Did you, I mean, stop right there. Stop right there. Stop right there. Breathe and digest. You're 35 years old and you can look around and see the world. You don't tend to see higher earning men with average looking women off rip. If you do see them, they got their average looking woman when they were both really young and he built his way up. But a man earning the kind of money you're talking about does not go for an average looking size woman.
I mean, my body is not average, so.
But ma'am, you please don't make me say it.
Say what? I really just wanted some advice. I love your.
I'm giving you advice, but you're not taking it. The advice is, ma'am, you're average looking at best.
I'm taking it in, but.
Okay, but you're not accepting the fact that, okay. Average looking women. Average looking woman who's older. Average looking older woman with a 13-year-old son. Average looking woman with a 13-year-old son with a sketchy baby daddy. This gets worse every time I say something. And now you're asking for a man who's in the top 10% of men. Woman, you don't qualify for one.
Ouch. Ouch.
I don't want to have to go there.
But you did.
But when you put in all these other factors, why can't you just get a man that's an average guy?
Sometimes I feel like in order to fully submit, I have to feel like he's in.
Well, then you're gonna die alone. How about that? I'm just cut to the chase, ma'am. You can feel like what you want to, but women like you die alone. Straight up. Because you think you're better than the men that you qualify for. And the only reason, honestly, ma'am, that I can see a woman like yourself really thinking you deserve more is because you earn more money than most people around you in North Carolina. But if your ass worked at the post office, you would not think so highly of your opportunities. You don't qualify for one. And you're making, I don't want to have to go there, but when you put in all these other factors, why can't you just get a man that's an average guy?
Sometimes I feel like.
And that's the reality. Men don't care about your money. Not the kind of men that you want. We don't care about your money. It ain't ours. We care about the fact that you are older and you got kids. And you're average. And your reality of your life has showed you that. You don't have the kind of men that you want knocking on your door trying to find you. See, what we've done in this country, this world, is we've told women like yourself that you can have it all, and you got a Prince Charming who's 6 feet tall, 6-figure income, jawline, all this other kind of stuff. And I'm sorry, man. No. Most people get average people, especially average people. And you're an average person. I mean, let's be real. You're not running Microsoft. You got a pet grooming business. You've been making 6 figures for the last 3 years. Okay. But if I'm looking at you, but if I looked at you and I took all that off of you, all the eyelashes and all the hair, what do you look like under there?
I mean, I look the same. I'm just.
No, you don't. Because if you did, you wouldn't have all that on.
I'm sorry?
No, you don't. You don't look the same because if you did, you wouldn't have all that on.
So, what is your advice for women that?
All right, I'll tell you my advice, man, because you're not listening to me. This is why I always recommend you need therapy. Because you seem like a sweet woman, but you don't get average people.
You're being so mean.
I'm not being. Don't tell me I'm being mean. I'm about to be mean. I get tired of you broads telling me I'm being mean because you cannot handle the goddamn truth. You called my show on a day that you ain't even supposed to be here, and I honored the call and sat here and tried to help you. And I'm telling me I'm being mean. Get the fuck out of my phone. I'm tired of y'all doing this shit.
So we're gonna pray for her, dear Heavenly
In the name
Father.
of Jesus.
Wherever she is, dear Heavenly Father, we hope she's okay.
In the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Right, you're just there like, la, 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 la.
Where does one even begin?
I mean,
Okay, you know what? Let me actually preface it again, just for
Yeah.
those to understand. There was that was about 6 minutes, if that much. And again, she called on a day that was a disagreement day. She basically almost insisted that he have a conversation with her, despite that she was, like he said in that clip, she was calling in despite of the fact that that was not the topic of the day. He was asking her questions such as, do you know men who make six figures? She said her father and her uncle. Outside of those men, do you know any men who make six figures? No, I do not. Okay. And he went in and really was asking her questions. And one of the main questions he asked her that we did not play is, he said, okay, why do you need a six-figure man? She said, because the men that I've been dating who do not make six figures, the relationship aren't working out. And then he turns to her and says, so what does that have to do with them not making six figures?
Exactly.
yeah, like what is she looking for from a man that, say, a guy that makes $90,000 a year versus a guy that makes $200,000 a year? What does the $90K guy not provide or give that the $100,000 guy does?
So
And I
her
think-
answer, to answer that, Carcia, her answer was that in order for her to respect a man, he needs to make over six figures. And she cannot fully submit to any man who does not make over six figures, because for her, in the last 3 years, she's been making six figures. And therefore, this is now a requirement for her, even though she's not putting herself in a position to attract six-figure men, is not putting herself in a position to meet six-figure men. And quite frankly, from the full 22 minutes, I honestly walked away saying this poor woman does not know who she is. That's actually, if you watch the entire clip again, what people were focused on is the fact that he called her average. But the reality, he didn't call her average. She said she was average.
Yeah. She said that she's a 6 at best.
At best. So I fully agree with that.
Yep.
I guess we can start there with, first of all, where do you hold value? And what does value mean to you? I think it's very disturbing. Even, I don't know why, but it's almost like a trigger to hear someone say, I can only respect someone that makes a certain amount of money. That's the first red light. Even if there was a six-figure man out there looking at her, he's now lost interest.
Absolutely.
Because if you are basing respect for a person on the amount of money they make, that's the first reason why you're not getting them. You're repelling them. For that very reason. Number two, the idea that you gave yourself a 5 without makeup and the hair, if you're giving yourself a 5 or, 6 at best, then who will find you attractive? Not even an average man would go after that.
No.
Because it's obvious that the self-love and the confidence that's needed is not there. And that's a dangerous thing. If you don't have that confidence, if you don't have that self-love, as we discussed the word intimacy and what it really means. And again, bad programming. We believe intimacy is the relationship between two people, but it's actually the relationship you have with yourself.
Amen.
Meaning you know yourself, you value yourself, and you love yourself so much that you could sit by yourself all day and be okay because you love yourself.
That's it.
When you're in that relationship so tight with yourself, you're going to attract men. But her whole problem, and I know he was trying to show that to her, but she couldn't see it, was that she's not there yet. She's not at her higher self yet. She's not ready. She is not ready to attain the love, really, from any man, average nor six-figure man. And that's her problem. And yes, again, as Toshiba, as you said, she, because of the way he ended the call, a lot of people were stuck with that. But the truth was, he got very frustrated because,
she wasn't
he's a coach, and, I kind of see where he's coming from, because as a coach, you're not giving advice. You are actually getting the person to realize things for themselves. And she wasn't realizing it for herself. She's still asking, so what advice would you give? And he's like, listen, you gave yourself the advice already. And I helped you there. The answer is there. You need to go and revisit your standards and start looking at values rather than dollar amounts.
That's it. I think it's sad too that with her, and not just her alone, there's many women out there that look at money as
we'll talk about that.
Exactly. Which is also sad because people think that millionaires, that all of them are angels and sweet and will just throw their money at you. Y'all need to wake up. That's not how, we all know, we won't say any names, but we all have been interactive. We all know, we're very blessed to know a lot of people that make a certain amount of money. And we are, even on our call, discussing what we were going to be talking about, we've all shared that, listen, some of these millionaires out there, whatever daydream you got going on in your head, get out, wake up, because it's not what you think. Point blank.
I wish the people on the radio could see my face right now. Listen, Linda. Listen, Linda.
Out.
The reality is exactly what you said. People have created this narrative in their head that security plus finances equals a good life. I'm going to speak only for myself, but I can go out there and say I'm speaking for a lot of women. There's always a question once a week, twice a week on Facebook and any other social media where someone says, women, in one word, what are you looking for from a man? And my one word is always security. I want to feel secure in a relationship. However, that has nothing to do with money.
Exactly.
My security in a relationship, feeling safe in a relationship, because safety and security go hand in hand for me, has nothing to do with how much money a person makes. And quite frankly, in my own dating life, I have dated millionaires. I've dated a lot of six-figure men. And some of those relationships left me completely empty. Because despite the fact that they had all of this money, they had nothing to give me.
That's it.
Yep.
That is it.
Nothing. Like
exactly.
I got nothing that I needed out of being in that relationship. And again, we've been programmed so much, and Karsi can talk as a coach who does neurolinguistics. We've been programmed so much to align ourselves to think, well, in order for me to feel secure and in order for me to make sure everything's taken care of, we need, I need to make, or my partner needs to make this amount of money. If COVID hasn't taught us anything, is that money don't mean that you're going to have any kind of security, because there are dead people dead right now. There are rich people who are dead right now. Like, right? There are people, there are millionaires who divorce every day.
Yes.
Right? Safety and security does not come with a dollar sign. The
Absolutely.
safest relationship I've been in is with someone who doesn't make six figures, but values me.
That's
Right?
it.
And values me. But the reality is, if I wanted to attract a six-figure man, I know where to go. I know how to walk. I know how to feel. Like you walk into a room and own yourself. So like, and that's the thing about her. She had already said, I am not deserving of what I want.
That's it.
Exactly.
There's no way of rating myself no 5 on no national broadcast.
Girl,
This man has how many hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube? She knew that show was going to show up. You asked me what I rate myself. I'm going to say a 10. And you,
I'm a 10.
I don't care if you agree or not. I'm a 10.
Exactly. I'm a 10.
And because remember, right?
With or without makeup.
Well, that's the thing, right? Beauty lies in the eye
I
of the
wake up like
beholder.
this.
And if you're going to attract someone and you don't even believe that you're worthy of attraction,
Mm-hmm.
listen, this universe is here to collaborate with you.
If
If you
the vibrations, talk about
if
it.
you aren't into collaborating with the universe to say, you know what, I'm hot, then you're not going to attract nobody.
Come on with
You
it.
ain't attracting, especially a six-figure dude. You're
Okay.
not attracting them.
Okay.
So, and I'm going to add to that. So again, going back to the full scope of the discussion, a question he posed to her in the conversation is he said, ma'am, what percentage of men, just speaking of the United States, do you think makes, six figures? She said 5. He said, actually, it's closer to 10. So if you've got 10% of men in the dating pool making the majority of money, the reality is, I would say 99.9% of women, I was gonna say 95, but I'd be lying, right? 99.999% of women also want to attract that 10% of men.
Exactly.
And if you are going to make it a thing that you feel that in order to be fulfilled in your relationship, because that is what she's saying, in order to be fulfilled, in order to submit, in order to respect, which I thought was,
That's a mess.
that for
That
me
is
was
a hot mess.
I
That's
was
a
like,
dumpster fire.
yeah, I was like, you can't respect a man if he doesn't make six figures, but we're gonna come to that. So if you are looking for a man who again, 99% of women want, then you need to put yourself in a position that you're gonna beat out
Yep.
99.9% of women for that man's attention. And I'm gonna tell you, women, if you are looking for a six-figure man, I'm gonna give you some advice. Find you a girl that was a groupie who snagged a ball player. They will tell you.
They got cash.
This is on some real. They will tell you how you gonna find and keep that man. Like on some real. Listen, like he said, men who make six figures do not give one rat's ooh about how much you make. They are not wanting your money. They don't need your money. They don't want your money. They ain't watching your money. But I will tell you from experience, having dated ball player, groupies know what they need to do. They've done their market research. Let me tell you that.
Exactly. And I think
That's it.
and I really do think that, the idea of value and, like she said, she was in a relationship with someone that was making, let's say they were making 80K and it wasn't working, but she feels it's going to work with the 100,000 plus guy.
Right.
And my question was, okay, so what is she looking for? Handbags? Someone to pay her mortgage? Like the only difference between the 5-figure $80,000 guy and the 6-figure $150,000 guy is really one makes a bit more money than the other. They can still provide. They can still love on you. They can still be trusted. They can still be loving and funny and provide all of those great things that you want in a relationship. I think that, again, and I want to delve a bit deeper into this programming thing because, I'm a kid of the 90s. I watched Living Single. I watched all of those big Haman shows.
Martin.
Martin. And all of those shows. And the big joke, I even watched The Golden Girls. And even then, as mature older women, they were all about the rich guy that came into town. And it's been embedded in all of us women, especially women that, even involve their parents in relationships. Like, oh, dad, like I've had conversations with my dad where I'm like, yeah, I met a guy. Oh, what does he do? It's the first question. Not
My least favorite.
person.
He's a good person.
Is he funny?
Does he have a
No. What does
record?
he do? Immediately it's saying the security is only going to come through what he does for a living.
Right.
And because that's embedded in us, it becomes a part of us. Meghan Markle was everyone was like, oh my God, I wish I was her. I wish I could be her. She is just now, she's a princess because she's married into a family where money just always appears out of nowhere. And that goes to show us, you know, the monarchy, Disney movies are a big culprit too, where it just teaches us that you need to get your hands on the prince. The average guy working at the coal station,
Right.
the guy that makes the swords,
Right.
the guy that,
Takes
you
care
know,
of the
works
horses.
for UPS and delivers mail. Yeah, the guy that takes care of the horses, they're not good enough. You need the prince. You need the duke. And that is a huge mistake. And that's the reason why many women end up, as our friend said, dying alone, because they won't come off of this idea that security means multimillionaire man.
So true.
And listen, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I didn't and don't want a rich man. Let's be clear. We all would love the fairy tale. We all would love the Prince Charming. And let me tell you, sometimes that fairy tale don't end so well. Okay, again, that's my experience. Sometimes what you think is going to happen isn't what happened. And this is from someone who's dated millionaires, okay? They're not necessarily what you sign up for. And it depends on how much, again, you are willing to take in a relationship. There are, you know what I really wish she had done is when he asked her, and again, we didn't play that clip, but when he asked her, what basically does the relationships you've been in not working out have to do with them not making six figures? Because there really was no correlation. It was an internal thing for her. She came up with, again, I can't respect, I can't submit, I basically can't value him. And the interesting thing is I'm having a conversation and I'm saying that's the part that she's missing is a six-figure man would want to know what value she adds to him. If you take away her money, which he does not care about, we've already said that. What value do you add? When this six-figure man is looking at you and all of the other options he has, because we done said 99.9% of women are looking for that man. When it's your turn, can you say that I'm going to add value to this person that is going to be hard for them to find in someone else?
Well, and that's the issue. She basically answered that question when she said she was a 5 with no makeup on. Right?
And then like 6, which is all dolled out.
like, and that's the problem. The thing is that
just low self-esteem.
It's really, her problem is so embedded that she, you know, it's all in her subconscious.
Right.
To believe that, well, I have to have a six-figure man. Why can't you respect a man that makes 90K?
What's the
Why
difference?
can't you respect him? You know, and he didn't have time. He needed like a 2-hour session with her to really, because he could have drilled a lot deeper to start asking, why can't you respect that man?
Right.
Why can't you, you know, go deeper and deeper and deeper? Because it's in there, it's deep down in there, but she also has a wall up. And I think that, you know, again, you called into a show, you interrupted the flow of the show so you could get your question answered, yet you weren't feeling open enough to be fully honest and tell the truth.
Well, that's it. You gotta be careful what you ask.
Yeah, you have to
be prepared to take whatever the answer is. Just because you're pretty and cute doesn't mean that the person has to, tell you a lie. I'm glad the man told the truth, rather than him to say, oh, you know, do this. And then she calls back again next week saying, well, I tried that and it didn't work. Da, da, da. If you're not going to like the answer, don't ask the question.
Thank you. Listen, I write about that in my upcoming book, right? We go out and we ask questions for which we really don't want the answers. And the answers we want are to somehow boost our egos and to validate what we're already thinking. Like, I'm not that person. Right? If you want a true answer, then come to me. If you want some little fluff, I ain't the one for you.
Right.
Exactly.
You're not a yes
Exactly
person.
it.
And a lot of people are looking for yes people.
And that's what she was looking for. She was hoping that he would say, oh, never mind. You know what? Are you free tonight? Maybe she was looking for him to date her. I don't know. But whatever he was looking for, he did not give her any leeway to try and think that she was going to get some great answer where she comes out looking like Beyonce. Like, chick, listen, this is what you're going to get. This is the answer. And like you were saying before, Car, she has so many walls built that she doesn't even want to listen to reason. Now, I don't know who her baby daddy is. Maybe that's from his first mistake. Maybe the man she was with before that she had her child with messed her up. I don't know. But clearly, she needs some serious work done in here, in her head, before she can even think about dating a man, period.
Yeah,
Any level.
And I think that's the issue.
She's toxic to herself.
A lot of women don't, as I always say, everybody needs therapy. And it doesn't matter what modality you choose, but everyone needs it. And sometimes the answer isn't finding a partner. Sometimes the answer is being by yourself.
Okay.
For a while. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being happy and single.
Okay.
This exists. I've been happy and single for a while.
It's a real thing.
You know, I prefer it. I'm not out here looking for a man right now because I'm so happy. I'm like, well, I can wait. I'm not old. I have time. I do want to bring up too, because it's really like on me, this idea of the six-figure man, you know, thing. And this idea that, you know, people think they just deserve a six-figure man just because they simply deserve it, without putting out any effort, but anything good takes effort, right? If your hair is done, your makeup is done, it took energy, it took work to do your hair, it took work to do your makeup, getting a part of a 10% pie when 95% of the planet wants it, you just can't walk in there in your PJs and, your hair in a top bun and, with some cream on your face from moisturizing and think, today's the day I'm going to get my Prince Charming. Today's the day I'm going to get my Prince Harry or Prince William or Prince whatever kind of prince you're looking for. So for me, this idea of, for instance, like women are kind of erasing their what they could have, the good that they could have. And before I continue on, I do want to just say that I want to thank Radio Regent for giving us this platform to talk about all these amazing topics. We have been enjoying being on here, syndicated through iHeartRadio, and we want to thank everyone for watching, all the Radio Regent listeners, all the Not Your Typical Girl Talk fans that have been on this road with us since the beginning of this year. Thank you so much for being so amazing. I want to talk about this other video that I saw that I shared with you guys.
Yeah.
Which is kind of in line with this because this is like the other side of it.
This is the rich man side.
So this is the side of the average guy that is working his way up. There's a video out there of this young man. He is a budgeter, like every smart human being should be.
Absolutely.
Especially now in the COVID times, we're seeing how important it is to budget.
Let me see if I can actually grab my phone and see if we can play that clip.
Oh, yes. Because what I'll set it up. So this clip is basically this young man is telling a story about how he's dating as an average man who saves his money. So he's very careful with how much money he spends on dates, grocery shopping, everything. And
he budgets.
Right.
That's smart.
Now, on the other side of it, he's experiencing this idea of the six-figure man is getting in the way of his life, though, because women look at him and think the worst of it, like he's being cheap or he's being too stingy. So
we're gonna play that. Thanks, Purpose.
I budget every single month. At the end of the month, I always, list in my cash flow. Then I also put out what I have going out. Inside of my budget, because I am a single man and I'm dating for a purpose, for marriage, I do have a line item for dates. That line item is not a lot. I'm not going to give you the particular number, but it's not that much. So about a few months ago, I took this young lady out. We went out to dinner. She texted me. She says, hey, first date was cool, but can we go to this particular restaurant next weekend? I didn't respond because I wanted to go home and check my budget and make sure that, okay, I can afford it inside of my budget. So when I go home, I realize it's going to take me over that particular line item in my budget for dating. So I asked myself, all right, do I tell her the truth? Like, I was thinking about just lying, y'all, to be real. I was like, can't go, I'm busy. But then, you know what? The Holy Spirit said, no, don't lie. Show her the caliber of man that you are. So I sent her a text message that says, hey, unfortunately, I can take you out next weekend, but I can't take you to this particular restaurant because if I do, this will take me over my dating budget for the month. I would be more than happy to budget this in for next month if we are still dating. So I send it, and I got an iPhone. And then on the iPhone, y'all know how it happens. When they start typing, that big old bubble, they like, okay, cool, good, we good. Then the dot goes away, and nothing comes in. And I'm sitting there, I'm emotional, like, dang, did I just play myself? Dang, did she just play me? Y'all, she didn't text me for 2 months. She didn't return a phone call. She ain't do that. And I'm sitting here like, well, what the heck? How was she going to sit here and say, you know what? I can't respond to that because a man's going to stick to his budget. That's sad. So she seen me on a particular national show. I ain't gonna say who, but she seen me on TV. She sends me a text message and she says, hey, just seen you on such and such. How are you? What about that date? I started typing and I really wasn't typing nothing. I just wanted her to see the ... And I didn't hit send. Because here's the thing. You can't play me and then honestly think I'm going to come back to you after you've done me like that. What's the whole purpose of this story? My vision for my life and for my money, because I stuck to it, it actually blocked me from dating a particular young lady that probably wasn't healthy for me. So to anyone who's out there dating, when you have a budget, you stick to that budget. Your plan is your pathway to your future. You stick to that plan. You stick to the vision. Where there is no vision, that's where people perish. And I believe when we just go out there and just spin and let people manipulate us into changing our plan and our vision for our life, things happen. I could have took it to the restaurant. So I could have.
Yes.
So there you go.
Hilarious.
So to me, this is the perfect sort of part 2 of why this idea of I need a 6-figure man is whack. Because this young man is not broke.
No.
He is not down on his ass wondering where his next meal is coming from.
No,
exactly.
He is responsible. And guess who else is responsible? 6-figure men. You think they're just out there throwing money? Like,
They're in the
yeah.
club, making it rain all over the place.
What this young man is doing is, to me, very attractive.
That's hot.
Very attractive. He's
Very.
making sure he has money so the mortgage can be paid, so that you can have decent food. You can go to a nice restaurant.
Go on vacation every
maybe
once in a while.
a month. You can go on that vacation.
Girl.
I don't know where this idea, and I think maybe, I don't know, are we watching too much hip hop videos? Are we
I don't
thinking
know.
that rappers are doing exactly what they're doing in the music
I think
videos
that's
and just
yeah.
throwing money at twerking ladies? Like, what? Where? What?
I don't know. I mean, look, we've said before, being broke isn't sexy. And this man is trying to do his best to earn a good living, keep some money. First of all, who wants to date a broke anybody? So shame on this woman for putting the guy in the back burner just because he's making sure he has enough money to take this lovely lady out. And then when she sees him on TV, she thinks, oh, maybe he's making money now. And she runs like a rocket to go and text him now. And I'm glad that he's a smart man.
And
I'm glad that he was like, you know what, check.
And also,
Stay
again,
there.
we're seeing how much she respects him and where the values lie in her, because she ignored him until she saw that he was
on TV.
star.
All of a sudden, he's making big money.
Here's the thing about money. Money comes and money goes. Money flows in, money flows out.
Okay.
I've had it. I haven't had it. I've had it. I hadn't had it. I've had it. I don't have it. I'm gonna get it again. Right? Like, that is the reality. But someone's love, admiration, respect, honor all of those things within you in a relationship, that generally doesn't go. You've established that. The money can come and go. But that's what is so interesting, because again, I'm not going to pretend that I haven't wanted to at some point in my life, didn't desire all of that things. I still do. I'm in a relationship, and my partner and I, we talk about the fact about what we're going to build together. We talk about where we are right now and what we're going to do together. And this is what my man has said to me: you are worth my best. Some of those women ain't worth anybody's best.
Exactly.
You're gonna look at a man who says to you, I'm happy to take you out. He did not discount her. He did not say, no, I ain't gonna try to take you out. That was whack, blah, blah, blah. He said, I'm happy to take you out, but not to this particular restaurant this month. But if we're still dating, I will budget it for next month. What he said to her, if he actually was listening, was, I think you're enough of a priority that if this thing continues, I'm willing to make sure that I'm taking you where you want to be next month. But we now live in a world where instant gratification is such a huge thing. And I'm not going to blame social media. Everybody says, oh, it's because of social media and Instagram. Instagram took off. And it was way before social media, right? We have just now come this instant gratification society that if we don't get what we want right now, then it's like the world's going to end. And that's what happened with even the lady in Kevin Samuels. She wanted what she wanted from him in that moment, despite the fact that the man already had a plan for his radio show. She came in, bombarded the show, and then expected him to coddle her during the process. Nah, chick.
That's it.
Right.
That's exactly it.
Exactly. And we have to start to realize, you know, like, when you look at things like, and I agree, I don't want to blame social media, because this has been going on. Again, I just talked about Golden Girls. Y'all, that show was from like
the 80s.
The 80s. Okay. That show premiered probably before like we were probably even born, or like right after. Like, that's how old that show is. And, you know, the mindset was still this thing where it's like, I need to have that thing.
Right.
And you're not, the thing is this, look at it like this. Okay, you get your 6-figure man, you get exactly what you wanted.
Okay.
Then COVID comes along. A lot of money's going out,
and nothing's coming in.
Nothing's coming in anymore. Your let's say CEO boyfriend, CEO husband has decided to take a pay cut so he can keep on his staff.
That's it.
So instead of making $400,000 a year, he is now making $90,000 a year. That's a big drop. So getting on the helicopter, flying up to the Alps and going down on your skis, going to those cabins that float on the water in Bali, all of that sort of stuff, those vacations no longer exist. Now you got to go to Sandals with the rest of us. And you gotta enjoy the cheap ass pina coladas that you can get for free. And that's the life you're now gonna live. Are you saying to me that you're going to break up with your man because he has decided to take a pay cut?
Hell no. And
for some of those women, hell yes.
Yes, because the relationship was based upon that multi-million-dollar life, not based on the fact that the man is a good man, he treats you well, he believes in you, and he loves you.
Listen, and we're going to hold on to that, because you said something to me earlier. You said something earlier that I recently said in a conversation with someone, and I said, the question of what someone does has always been my least favorite question. Like my least favorite question. I don't ask it, and I don't want it asked of me, right? And especially when you're in a new relationship or you're dating someone new, when your friends are like, so what does he do? That's actually my response. I'm usually like, or I make up the most ludicrous story about what he does. So they won't like him. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, since you're going to now value him based on what he does, instead of asking me, does he make you happy? Is he someone that you could see being a role model for your child in terms of what a man should be like for her? right? Like,
right.
does he make you feel safe and secure? Because I know that's really important to you, right? And
That's
so
right.
even when I was dating, and I consider dating to be a terrible interview process, I wanted to know about the value of the person, right?
Right.
And that was not attached to what they did, because I realized that people ask that question to determine how much value to place on you. Listen,
Right.
I've met terrible doctors and lawyers, and believe it or not, I've met really amazing drug dealers. Okay, like I've met
there you go. I mean, that's
the most
true.
amazing
It's true.
people, and I've met doctors and lawyers who are horrid, terrible, horrible people. I don't even know how they have a job and are continuing on in this world, right? Like, and so we use these titles and these things to place value on people, when really it's because we lack value within ourselves. That's just my 2 cents.
Amen.
Absolute.
Amen.
That's it. You hit it right there.
It's people are always projecting.
Yep.
And if you are asking, hey, I met someone, what does he do? You're projecting exactly what you would think of yourself. Meaning, if you are not a lawyer, you think you're not worthy. You think that you're not enough.
Mm-hmm.
And that's dangerous, because you're going to go into every single relationship,
with that,
loving relationships or friendship relationships. You're going to go in with that mindset, and that's toxic. So, going back to our friend here that wanted the 6 figures, she's got a lot of things that she needs to work out. Finding a 6-figure man is not her problem. Her problem is that she doesn't love and respect herself enough. What she should be saying is, look, I've made 6 figures in my life. I have a successful business. I'm smart.
That's it.
I deserve the best guy out there. He's got to be funny. He's got to enjoy his life. He's got to love being adventurous with me. He's got to respect me as a woman. He's got to respect me as a businesswoman. He's got to, that's what she should have been saying as a response.
Amen.
If she started saying that to him, the conversation would have been
totally different.
Absolutely.
But she, again, set herself up for a fall.
It's funny because Kelsey Grammer. He's the one that's taking care of Girlfriends and The Game and his own show Frasier and Cheers. And as you know, he used to be married to Camille, who used to be on Beverly Hills Housewives, one of those things. And they divorced. And he divorced her for a woman who's I believe she was a nanny. And she wasn't out here in these streets, to say dressed up to the nine or anything like that. She's very average. She's meek, but clearly she has a good mindset, because Kelsey Grammer saw her, spoke with her, and was like, wow, this girl, she's comfortable with or without her makeup.
Yeah, because Camille is basically
Camille looks like a Barbie doll.
She's a Barbie doll.
She looks like a Barbie doll. She's moved on with her life and she's married, and good for her. But this woman that Kelsey Grammer is now married to, she values, she loves herself as she is. And because he sees the love that she has for herself, he fell in love with that.
And a man brought value. And that's the word we've all been saying. There's an added, not only did she value herself, I'm sure he thought that she added value to his life. And this is what we always have to remember is, do we add value to someone else's life? And like my boyfriend has said to me, are you worth somebody's best? Especially when that best is only a 10% part of the population. And I want to say this before we got 12 minutes, but this is something that I think I want all women to think about, right? We are the common denominator in all of our failed relationships.
Amen.
A little louder for the people in the back.
Let me say it again, girl. We are the common denominator in all of our failed relationships. When I got to that part in my life, this is when I had to really take a moment and step back and say, being the common denominator in my life, let me question why I've attracted and chosen to interact with certain people knowing that they're not good for me. So it is so easy, like Carcia said, to project out and say, my relationship didn't work because of X. And he did that, and he did this, and he did that, girl, he did this. But you still let him in your life. So what about it? What pheromones are you really putting out there that you keep it, especially if you can look back and you line up, 5 men that you've dated or been in a relationship with, and they have very similar traits. It ain't them, girl, it's you. Like, it's you. That's why it's in you. It ain't them. If you keep attracting these same type of men, and then it's not working out with these men, and these men aren't the type of men you want anyways, because that's what she was saying. I'm attracting and dating men I don't want because they don't fit my 6-figure thing, but we're not working out. But why?
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 And that should be the question she's looking to answer. It's like the girls that come to me and say, Karcia, I always end up just going on 2 dates with a guy and then he ghosts. And I'm like, and I'm like, how often does this happen? All the time. It's happened for the past like 6 times that I've been out. And then I say, so what's the problem? Well, I don't know. I'm like, no, you know.
They know.
Because it's you. Some of them, they look at me like,
how dare you?
But then after the initial shock, they're like, okay. So why do you say that? And I say, listen, you came up to me and the first thing you said is they always ghost me after 2 dates. That's the first thing.
Okay.
You internally believe that. So any guy you pick up, even tomorrow, you're going to pick up a guy and I can bet money he's going to forget about you in 2 days because you told me that's what happens. You are telling me what you want to happen rather than walking around and saying, I want to attract a man that loves me and is going to be around forever and is going to be dependable and reliable. If you're walking around saying that, then you're going to find a man that does that.
That's it.
But if you're doing the opposite, you expect a man to stay with you when inherently you've adapted this feeling and knowing that he's not going to stick around after 2 dates. Like you are the one that is running them out. You're doing it subconsciously. You are running them out. So you're right. As women, we do have to look at ourselves and say, why? Why is it going the way? What things can I change? What behavior, what strategy or program am I running? Like a Mac computer or a Microsoft computer program, they're running programs daily. Our microphones that are recording us, it's running a program right now to record our voices. So what program are you running to get the results you're getting? Because there is one. You've got to figure it out.
There is one, but they don't want to figure it out. They just want to automatically fight or flight, so they say. They blame the other person. It's their fault.
And here's the thing. You know what? You can be the most amazing woman, right? And I'm going to take you through because I love food. And, we all know that Kobe, not to be mistaken with Kobe, okay, Kobe, steak beef is one of the most expensive cut of meat that there is, right?
Yeah.
In some restaurants, you're looking at $400 for like a 6-ounce piece of meat. Okay. And so a lot of us are walking around in our Kobe energy, right? We feel like we are invaluable, we're amazing, and we can list off all of the great qualities about us that men and other people actually should find attractive. Now, take you into that restaurant and you've got the chef and he seasoned the Kobe beef just right, but then he brings it out on a garbage pail lid.
Okay.
Yep.
Who the hell is going to eat that now?
That's a lot of women, right?
Yeah.
They are presenting themselves as the finest thing, but on a piece of garbage pail lid.
Yep. It's true.
And wondering why they can't attract the type of men they want. Because I am not eating no Kobe beef. I don't care how amazingly it's been prepared. The waiter brings it out and it's on a garbage pail.
You better plate that thing on the nicest of china.
Decor stuff.
Yeah,
I
want the
little drizzles on it.
Of
That's
sauce.
it. Make a piece of art out of that.
That's it.
And I want people to think about that analogy, right? Write it in my book, because I feel like we often, he was right. Like, women, like right now, you don't qualify for the type of men that you want because you yourself you've outranked yourself. You have said, I'm a 5, I'm a 6. You are not able to articulate what you would bring to the table to a man that you desire. that top upper echelon of men, you're unable to articulate to the life coach that you say that you want, why that man would find you valuable and would want to run off in the sunset with you over all of the other women that he could choose. Because you set yourself on a garbage pail lid. That's all. That's what I'm gonna say.
It's true. It's true. They need therapy,
girl.
Fast.
Well, I'm gonna start with my takeaway from all of this. My takeaway is that all in all, work on yourself. When you work on yourself, it's gonna take a lot more than 6 figures for you to be interested in a man. That man is going to have to show the qualities and the persona traits, the character that you want. Let's delve a bit deeper as women, as men, as young people just starting to date, even starting dating. Let us look at things that are a bit deeper. Let's look at the character. Let's look at how that person values themselves. And also to all the people out there budgeting, yes, you go right ahead. Those are boundaries, and boundaries are healthy. Yes. You are going to survive any pandemic, any situation, because you are watching your dollar bills.
Watching them coins. And my takeaway, but actually before I do my takeaway, I just want to thank everyone once again for listening here on Radio Regent. The conversation may be over here, but we always love to hear what everyone's thinking, what everyone's talking about. You heard what we had to say. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say to us. So comment, follow us on all of our social media platforms under the name Not Your Typical Girl Talk. And a huge thank you to everyone that's listening here on Radio Regent. And my takeaway is what you said earlier about intimacy. That is very important. Yes, you have to really be comfortable with yourself. Be comfortable with yourself. And you'll see that you'll attract every good thing that you're deserving of. Don't sit there with your broken pieces thinking that you're going to get a great person. And this goes for male and female. Don't just sit there thinking, well, I'm broken, but that rich person will fix me. They're not responsible to fix you. They're not. You have to fix you. So my thing is, be comfortable with yourself. That's my takeaway. Be good with you.
Good girl. I got a few. Let me just tell you something. Number one. Okay.
School them, Sheba.
Don't go around asking people questions you really don't want answers to. That's my first takeaway, because that's where she started, right? She watched the man show. She knew the brand of reality that he had. If you watch his show, I've watched a few since then. He beyond this keeping it real. So number one mistake she made was expecting somebody who was always kept it real to coddle her, especially when she went and crashed his show. So do not ask questions for Rich you do not want the answers to. And number two, until you are able to articulate what you can bring to the table to someone else, you may want to sit at your table alone.
Amen.
Because again, take it from me, I've dated the gamut, and this is not to brag. This is to, I've dated the regular average guy to the pro player to world, there's to sports, and to a world-renowned DJ, right? I have dated the gamut of men, and money didn't change them if they were ass. Nah. Okay,
exactly.
That didn't do anything, right?
No.
Having money didn't make them value more. Having less money didn't make that, none of that really mattered. Fundamentally, I knew that I wanted safety and security, and that's what was a non-negotiable for me. And so, I'm 41 years old now, and that's what I value. So what are your values, and what are you bringing to the table for you to be worth somebody's best? So that is my takeaway. We are going to send it out with our song. Next week, we're going to have another interesting topic again.
Oh, yeah.
Another thing going around, asking about whether or not men have become too soft in today's society. Girl.
Next week's gonna be next week is going to be very interesting.
So we'll play you out with our song. Carcia is gonna play our song, and I'm dancing in the song even on, but I'm
Thank you so much again, guys. Radio
Thank
Region,
you, everyone.
all our
Radio
listeners.
Region, iHeartRadio.
Have the
Bye.
best weekend. Bye.
Bye.